Hey, drawing and painting, how are you today? Thank you so much for being patient with me as I got everything ready. It's taken me a lot of work to get everything kind of figured out uh, as far as what I'm going to give to you for the rest of the trimester for projects. And then, if those are the projects I'm going to give, what supplies do you need? And then, if those are the supplies you need, do I have enough to put kits together? And so on and so forth. And so, thank you for waiting for me to get this all figured out. And now I'm ready to kind of kick off the next stage of our class together. So, as you know, we're in phase two, which means we're in this for the long haul. It feels a little bit more serious. There's obviously grades involved now. So, we'll talk through all of that. I know you're tired of watching videos, so I'll try to keep it as brief as I can. All right, first of all, supply kits. Yesterday, I was in the art room for about 8 hours putting together these kits, trying to make sure that everybody had enough of what they will need for the rest of the try. I'm not sure that I gave you enough paint because it was pretty hard to gauge, but we can definitely get you more if you need anything more. This is what it looked like this morning at the high school. A lot of you probably saw this in the message that I sent, and the only reason I'm putting it here now is because it's a funny story. I wheeled out our really tall art room tables this morning, and because it was windy and because the tables were really tall, the kits were blowing off the tables and exploding paint everywhere. So here's Ellie's bag of stuff, and there were like six or seven that looked like this, and I was kind of panicking because I had spent so much time putting these together, and then all of a sudden they were like paint bombs everywhere. So Ellie did come to pick hers up. Bless her heart, she stayed and helped me clean things up. I was rinsing off pencils, we were cleaning the containers, I had to replace a lot of stuff, print more syllabi, blah blah blah. So anyway, it's funny now, but at the time, not so funny. So if there's something in your kit that looks a little bit like stained or wet or something, that's why. All right, here's what you have in those kits. So I gave you the primary colors of paint, red, yellow, and blue. You can mix those three colors and make just about any color that you want. And that's part of this class is I want you to be able to know how to do that. I gave you 2 containers of white. That was not an accident because you're going to use probably more white than you use any of the other colors of paint, and then obviously black. If you run out of anything, let me know and I will bring you more. There's a set of colored pencils. They're not Prismacolor, which means they're just not my favorite brand, but it's what I had 60 sets of to get out to you guys quickly. I tried to give you a pretty mid-range paintbrush, something that would work for a lot of different applications because I'm not really sure what you're going to design and need to paint yet. So I tried to give you a middle of the road brush, a pencil, that Bic pen, the black ink pen, don't lose that. That is a very important pen and you will need it for an ink drawing. So keep it in your bag and keep it safe. Do not lose it. It's important. A Sharpie, because Sharpies are awesome, and you may need it for the color wheel project that we're going to do down the road. Tracing paper is for the final project way down the road, so you don't need that. Just keep it in your bag. Obviously, I gave you a hard copy of the syllabi and syllabus, and then some computer paper that's just blank. We'll use that for the first project. Those big sheets that are rolled up, that's called Bristol board. It's just a heavier weight paper, and that was what I thought might work well for a few different projects because obviously it had to fit in the bag, and I didn't want to overcomplicate things and give you all kinds of different substrates to work on. So I think this is going to be a good basic kit for you. I think you'll have everything you need. Okay, the syllabus update. I won't spend a lot of time on this because I gave you a hard copy, but a couple things I want to draw your attention to. The grading scale has changed. Mr. Gilchrist put this out last week. It's more generous for you. It gives you a little more wiggle room since we are all in this weird state of online learning and remote teaching. So just take a look at that. I think it gives you a little bit more of a cushion as far as grading goes. And sketchbooks, I want to mention that I'm not going to do a daily warm up this week because I have some other ideas for your sketchbook that I want you to do. So just I will let you know when you need to do warm ups and when you don't. I think I'll have um, I'm going to take a break from warm ups right now just because we have enough to do. And I know that this week things are getting more intense for you. So we don't need to do that right now. And then below, you can kind of see how I outline the rest of the trimester as far as projects go. I wouldn't worry about that too much because we will break those down every week. All right. If you want to get a hold of me, I tried to give you as many different social media avenues as I could because I think communication is going to be critical. I actually also want to hold some either Zoom or Google Meet times for us to just hang out. And I don't even care if that's just like let's eat lunch together because it's going to be from noon to 1:30 every day. If you want to just log in and eat your lunch with me, that would be great because I do miss people just hanging out in the art room. So anyway, that is that. Let's move on to the rest of what I have for you. I wanted to show you this artist because we're going to be doing our first project with color pencil. CJ Henry. If you don't follow her on Instagram, you totally should. So this girl does colored pencil drawings that are hyper realistic. And first of all, check out her colored pencil stash. I'm not even kidding. It is something to behold. So she uses a few different high-end lines of color pencils. So you can see it's not just like one brand. She has a few different ones. There's that Prismacolor brand I was talking about that I really like. Um, color pencils are funny, you guys. Look at her drawings. Hello? Those are color pencil drawings. But what I was going to say is colored pencils is definitely, I would say, all art supplies. You kind of get what you pay for. So if you're wondering why I was mentioning even the Prismacolor versus the School Smart at all, it's just a softer lead when you get into like a higher end color pencil, and it's just creamier and richer and nicer. But check her out on Instagram. She kind of has several different series, these kind of ink blot drawings. This is like a fabric uh, folded um, piece that she worked on. I'm losing my words because I'm like so mesmerized by what it looks like. But really, you guys, color pencil drawing is like this. It's layering, layering, layering. You can see when she started, it looks very sketchy. Don't stop here. This is not done. And she just keeps layering colors over top of each other until she gets it to look more realistic. So this is what we're going for. Lots of layering. Don't stop when it looks like this, okay? All right. Yeah, I'll let you check her out. Lots and lots of good stuff in here. I love this series of the gems, and she printed them on scarves. Good stuff. Okay, so that's just somebody current that I follow that I think is really great. All right, so what does that have to do with anything? Let's go to our assignment for this week. So the paper ribbon drawing that we're going to do is simple, and it could be fine art if you really went for it. So here's a finished drawing that I think could be fine art. It's beautiful. It's got kind of a foreground, a middle ground, background. It's got value. It's got that shadow. It's got beautiful lighting. If you're looking at this and you're like, there's no way I can do that, you can. It's really not that difficult. And yes, I'm showing you like an example that is pretty incredible. So don't get too overwhelmed. I have other examples. The first thing you're going to do is take one of those pieces of computer paper I gave you and cut a strip of it or several strips of it and make I'm going to call it a paper ribbon sculpture, okay? So take it, cut it up, lay it somewhere, look at it, try to look for value, look for areas of light and dark, look for the shape, look for interesting shapes that are created when it starts to overlap, and you may want to light it. So you may want to put it next to a lamp or a window so you get some really cool shadows. And what you really want is a variety of values or lightness, light and dark shades. Okay, so look for, like, remember when we did those the value scales and you had like white, light gray, middle gray, dark gray? Look for a range like that. I would suggest taking a picture of it, because that picture is going to be easy for you to work from, because if it's by a window, your lighting will change, your angle might change. So if you take a picture, one thing that happens is you can capture it. And two, sometimes what happens when you take a picture is you can see the value better for some reason. I really think that's true. Okay, so this is where I'm going with the sketchbooks. So don't do your warm-ups this week, but I would practice some of these in your sketchbook just to get the feel for doing this in your sketchbook. And maybe you could do a few different paper ribbons and play around with shapes and play around with just practicing what it feels like to draw that. Okay, so you can see the example on the left, there's more of a distinct outline. The one on the right, I would say, is a different style, more realistic, because the edges are defined by value and not by line. And we talked a little bit about that when we were drawing our spheres. Okay, so in your sketchbook, I'd like you to have a few different practice drawings. Okay, then you need to decide, because we're going down the color path now. Okay, so I'm going here, all right? But let me back up for a minute. I want you to do a value scale like we did in the beginning, but instead of having it be white, light gray, medium gray, dark gray, black, or whatever, have it be colors. So I want you to associate colors with values. Okay, so you can see this example. They're going with white, and then yellow is like the next darkest value, and then they're using the green and blue colors. Like you can see, this is like phthalo blue, true blue, indigo blue. So choose a color palette based on the values you can create with those colors. So you basically want a range like this of 6 colors from light to dark. So you're going to have to figure out what shade is that color and where does it fit on the spectrum. This is something you could absolutely put in your sketchbook too, okay? And then you're going to start drawing it. Now we're not using any graphite anymore. We're just strictly sticking with colored pencil. So this is only colored pencil on your drawing right now. And you can do this either on the second piece of white computer paper I gave you, or if you want to do it in your sketchbook, you could as well. But you want to start drawing that ribbon and using the values. Wherever it's the lightest, use the lightest color that you established. Wherever it's the darkest, choose that darkest color that you chose and put it there. Here's a couple more examples that I showed, or that I told you I would show you. So the one on the left, they did kind of more of a monochromatic or one color scheme. So they stuck with just yellows and greens and shades of those colors. The one on the right, they went in all different directions with their colors and did a more elaborate design too. So you get to choose the color palette, and then obviously you get to choose what you're drawing too, because you're making that paper sculpture before you draw it. And again, here's that really beautiful example I showed you. So I like to show examples sometimes, but then sometimes I don't, because A, it kind of sucks the creativity out of it, and B, some people get intimidated when they see things like this. But some of you are phenomenal artists already, so I'm not too worried. Okay, and one last thing. This is going to be something that you photograph and upload to the Google folder, and I've had a lot of questions about uploading to Google folders. So here is the folder when you go over here, it's not intuitive at all. So don't feel bad if you can't figure this out, because it's actually buried under new, and file upload is what you click on, and then you will ask you, okay, what picture do you want me to go get? So you'll choose your picture and upload it. The reason I'm using Google Photos, there's a few reasons. One, Schoology is just not great for handling big images when you turn in images of art. It just takes a long time for it to load on my end, and I think to upload on your end. Two, I like that in the Google Drive, I can open up your file and I can select certain areas and comment on specific parts of your drawing. And then you can comment back to me if you want. Katie Glasgow and I had a full out conversation in Google Comments a couple weeks ago, and it was awesome. So those are a couple of reasons why I like to use it. I can also just see it faster than I can in Schoology. So let me know if you have any issues with that. I'm going to start publishing the folders based on the week. So I won't do this assignment 1, 2, 3 anymore. I'll just do the week and then the name of the project. I will try to make sure I have everything in order. So step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 1 isn't in here now because that's what I'm recording right now, but it will be. So step 1 will be to watch this video. Step 2, I have some notes about the assignment. And then step 3, you'll upload your drawing on Friday or before. So, that was a lot. I tried to talk fast and I tried to give you everything that I've been wanting to tell you for weeks. So I hope that is helpful. Please check in with me, email me, send me a Schoology message, reach out on social media, anything, anytime. I miss you all a ton, and I hope you are well. So keep in touch. I cannot wait to see what you draw.